I'm Dr. Ray Middleton. I help people by delivering great training. Here's an example of an episode from one of my training courses. We can apply some principles from motivational interviewing where the aim is to support self-efficacy and a sense of self-agency, so people sense the actions that they're taking can make a difference in their life. We communicate we're optimistic and hopeful that people can change and really believe in the possibility of change. It's difficult, but it's possible. To build hope for people when they feel hopeless or despairing is an important motivator for people. We can lend people our realistic hope for them. We can encourage someone to take some personal responsibility and ownership of the change process as well. We can share the process of planning with them, so we don't leave them completely by themselves to plan for change. Otherwise they'd have brought change about themselves. But we don't impose our plans on them. We do it collaboratively, co-producing a plan for change. This may work on part of the plan. It may be just like a small steps. They could work on some of it and we could work on some of it, and we're all playing our part in the plan for change, so people don't have to do it entirely on their own. The plan may involve a third party, not just them and us, but another person, a service or a peer support group might be involved in this plan. So they've got some part of the plan as well. It's a collaborative effort. Combining these two theories that we've talked about, the theory of change model and motivational interviewing techniques, can help us as workers to help those we are getting alongside, and we can get a bit better at building motivation using some or all of these techniques. These stage-based interventions that Jay talks about to facilitate change can be really helpful for us because it gives us something clear to consider, to think where the person is at on that kind of model of change. Are they pre-contemplative? Are they planning? Are they trying to maintain a change? And so it's helpful to us because we can have a conversation with a colleague maybe or in supervision about where we think someone's at. And then we can think about ourselves. Are we trying to help someone move from pre-contemplation towards planning and then action? Or are they motivated around a particular area in their life that would be good for us to focus on? And it avoids this mismatch between us over-assuming or overestimating, which staff often do, the level of motivation around an issue. And so there can be this mismatch between what we're doing and what level or stage they're at. We want to get where the person is at, remember. We might be planning for a change that the other person's not yet motivated to work towards, so we can recalibrate our approach and try to work on, maybe the ambivalence, the pros and cons of change. What part, how much of them wants to change, how much of them kind of wants to just not bother, stick at how things are. It can help to think about a change that we've tried to bring about in our own life and think about what helped and didn't help to build our motivation around that change. Was it hard or easy to change? It could be exercise or diet, or it could be a job or a qualification or some change. But if we reflect on ourselves, we can have more compassion for other people. Did we feel ambivalent about the change in our life? Did it take us a few years or decades to bring it about, or months? Reflecting on ourselves and our challenges to change our own behaviour in order to achieve some goal can give us more compassion when we're helping someone else through the same process of becoming motivated to change. Working towards goals and building motivation to change is a normal human process. Some strategies work for some people and some just don't. For all of us, when we attempt to change to reach a new goal or change a habit, this creates some normal stress and stirs up emotions and fears, or it might be annoyance, because we're trying to change and then there's a bit of stress. It's probably more stressful than if we just didn't bother to try to change. And it's normal is what we're saying. So developing some coping skills to handle strong emotions and stress can help with the change process, with the transition process. It also helps to be accountable to a trusted social network of people who can encourage and give us critical feedback about the change process. How are we doing? And encourage us, and we can be accountable to them. And that motivates us to kind of want to progress and tell people a bit of progress next time we see them. Sharing our commitment to achieve this change with other people that we trust can help to motivate us to stay on track and persevere with our hard work to change. It can also help to be able to measure progress towards goals. For example, We may take a daily personal inventory about our progress and share our progress with someone else who cares. It can also help to break down larger goals into smaller, reachable goals. Sometimes people call this eating the elephant, where you eat a little bit of it and then eventually get this big task done. Rewarding ourselves for any milestones of progress on the way and celebrating larger achievements can also be an important encouragement. And in some cultures, we're not so good at this, like in England, I don't think, but in some cultures are better than others, but it's good to try and celebrate progress and milestones on the journey, and think about doing that, because that can really help build motivation and cement and validate progress so far on the journey towards a bigger goal. If something's worked for us, we can repeat the particular strategies that help to bring about a change in one area to apply that for change in another area. We can drop and disregard strategies that don't work for us. You know, people are different. Even if some things work for other people, you think, well, that doesn't really work for me. So this process of bringing about change is about learning from our past and our present and understanding ourselves around what works and motivates us, and then helping other people in that process of what works and doesn't work for them and understanding themselves. It's a process, and it's a normal process. It can help to connect the changes that we're trying to bring about to deeper values within someone's bigger personal story. You know, the self-narrative we talked about. So if we think, oh, this change connects to my values and my story, and I believe that about myself, then I'm much more likely to be motivated to do it, rather than thinking, oh, it's a task. It's nothing to do with who I am, my identity, my story, my narrative, and my values. If it's embedded there, I'm much more likely to be motivated to work towards it. Do remember, setbacks are normal when trying to achieve goals. So we can practice being patient, self-compassionate, self-forgiving, and understanding for any attempts to change that don't work at first, because this is normal. And that self-compassion and patience we can share with someone else if we're helping motivate them on that journey of change as well. We can encourage them not to beat themselves up, in a nutshell. Change, have some self-compassion. Change is hard work and it's not easily achieved, but we can apply these strategies to help make change a reality and build motivation. It's helpful to appreciate the difficulties of the task so that we can be realistic about the change process, the time and the hard work it might take. If we just say that change is simple, it might demotivate us quite quickly when it becomes hard work. So we're saying, well, that's a big change to bring about. Let's really, it's going to take some time and effort to get there. So we're acknowledging it, and then we can break that down into, base camp and other stages along the way. Often people with multiple and complex needs and complex trauma histories have experienced so much disappointment, failure, loss and trauma in their life that they're afraid to raise their hopes to try something new. So our role can be about trying to do that, to build people's hopes and motivation to change without triggering the shame and guilt and anger that so often accompanies their fears about trying to achieve something. Even beginning the conversation can be helpful, even though it might stir up memories and feelings of past failure and disappointment. That doesn't mean not to try to have the conversation about hopeful change, but to do it in a sensitive and compassionate way and be aware that people may be anxious or fearful about failure. We may focus more on the harm reduction and the crisis intervention techniques and principles to start with and develop a common language, build that relationship before later moving on towards encouraging motivation to change. I hope you found that helpful. For more information about the training I can offer, email me at ray.middleton@ladderforlife.com or sign up for one of my free trauma-informed courses by clicking the link in the comments. Like and subscribe for more helpful videos, or post a question in the comments and I'll reply.